Hi, everybody. This is a follow-up video, continuing the notes to show you how we can use our takeaways today that we had from class regarding the truth values of the contrapositives of any statement. So what I mean by that is the conditional statement, which is P implies Q. That is going to have the same truth value as your contrapositive. Now, the contrapositive is when you reverse the order. I'm going to make that the same color. You reverse the order, so it's Q implies P, and then you negate both of them. Negating means you add a not into your statement. So it would be, instead of P implies Q, it would be read as not Q implies not P. And then the same thing goes for the relationship for the converse statement and the inverse. And indeed, if you look at them carefully, if you take either one of them, for example, the converse is, type it here so you can see it. The converse is Q implies P. Now, if I were to flip the order of these, you would get, and negate both of them, you'd get not P implies not Q. All right, so with that being said, you can see that this is now the inverse. The inverse is when you just have not P and the negation of both the P and the Q. So it's a contrapositive as well. So anytime you make a contrapositive to any statement, it's going to have the same truth value. Now, I've already pre-highlighted our notes here so that we can see some patterns, and I'm just going to talk through the first few, and then I'll highlight on the go and show you how this is used. Okay, so this is what we call a chain of reasoning. And a lot of times you don't have to write anything down and you can figure out a natural conclusion. So if you live in Skokie, then you live in Cook County. This is absolutely true. And if you live in Cook County, then you live in Illinois. Also absolutely true. So ultimately, you can say if you live in Skokie, you live in Illinois. So here's how I would denote this. We're saying that the P is live in Skokie. And the Q is you live in Cook County. And then the second statement says, well, if I live in Cook County, which is still Q, I'm still using the same letter, then you live in Illinois. So that's going to be a different statement. So I'm going to give it a different letter. And here I'm color coding it so you can possibly see the chain too. So now if we go with P, which is yellow, implies Q. But then in the second statement, Q also implies R. So therefore, we should be able to say that the first implies the last. So indeed, P implies R. Okay, that's our chain of reasoning. In the first example here, something to note is that they have the word if in the middle of the statement. If is usually what is said first in your P and Q statements. So it actually switches the order. You will do well on the test if you do well on the homework. So this is really red, right? And I wrote it like this because P is actually the second thing written. So you would say, if you do well on the homework, then you will do well on the test. So if has to happen first. And the same thing with the second statement. So really, it is yellow, P, implies green, Q. And then you see you would do well on the test is said again here, and that is the green Q, implies the orange R. So if we make this chain of reasoning, we can see that P does imply Q. So P implies Q, which also implies R. So therefore, we can say the P implies R. And P is the yellow, and R is the orange. So indeed, this is absolutely a valid conclusion based on what we know about chain of reasoning. Okay, the second one here, part B, all donkeys have long ears. That's P implies Q. Okay, so if you're a donkey, then you have long ears. All long-eared creatures. That would be the same thing as saying you have long ears. Okay, so that is really Q. Implies you're a habitual eavesdropper. So this one goes yellow to green, and then green goes right to red. So therefore, the yellow should be able to imply the red. This is a very similar example to what we had above. Okay, but without the if in the middle of the sentence. All right, so for this one, when Mr. L goes to Starbucks on his way to school, he has a good morning. All right, so we'll say Mr. L goes to Starbucks on his way to school. This I'm going to make, we'll start yellow, and that's going to be my P implies Q. So has a good morning, we'll make that a different color, orange. So here we have yellow implies orange. If Mr. L has a good morning, okay, so has a good morning is the first part of it, and that was our orange. So that's our Q. And that's going to imply he does not give homework. Okay, so does not give homework. We can say that's going to be just a different letter, but a lot of people like, because the not is there, to make it a negation statement. So we can do that. We'll make it not R. All right, so P implies Q and Q implies not R. So what do we have here? Therefore, if Mr. L gives homework, this is going to be, that's going to be R, right? Because not R is going to be does not give homework. So if we follow the logical reasoning from what we have here, we're able to make a chain. We can say P implies Q, which implies not R. So therefore, we know that P implies not R. But what's also true is the contrapositive to this statement. So if we look at this, Mr. L gives homework. Well, I don't see that directly in the highlighting. But what's also true is that if I flip the order of the not R and P and change it, negate it. So if you negate the not R, it becomes R. Implies P. So either one of these two statements will have the same truth value. So this one says, if Mr. L gives homework, that is R. Then he did not go to Starbucks on his way to school. Okay, well, going to Starbucks was P. So this is indeed a true statement because this is the contrapositive to the natural chain of reasoning. So this is a valid conclusion based on the contrapositive to the chain of reasoning. You always have to keep those in mind. And this is just more of like logic play here. We're also going to be able to say, so we're trying to make a natural connection here. and make a chain, but it's kind of difficult because, well, you're going to run into a roadblock unless you look at the contrapositives to each one of these statements. So on the right-hand side, I'm going to write the contrapositive to each one of these statements. And then I can use any combination of these to make a chain. As long as I'm using D or not D, I'm including the full chain. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. This will be not E implies E. That will be the contrapositive. And then this one will be D implies not A. This one will be not D implies not B. This one will be E implies C. Those are all the contrapositives. You flip the order and you negate each one of them. So now we want to try to make a connection. And I think I can just copy and paste here and see. It doesn't matter really where you start. So we can see that this here, I can take it and copy that, and I'll bring it down here and drop it in. See that I'm this not B, this is where it connected right there. So now here I have this chain of reasoning. It's a part of a chain of reasoning. I'm going to move it over here. And now I will try to connect. Can I connect something to not D, or does E imply somewhere? Let's see. Okay, well, here I have E implies to C, so I could attach that on the right-hand side. And then just make it 1. Does C imply anything? Well, I don't see C starting something and going anywhere else, but does anything go to not D? Well, A goes to not D. A implies not D. So there we can cut this one, put that in the front, and attach. So let's see, we have A, B, C, D, E, and those are all of the letters involved, right? So now here's my chain of reasoning. We can say, therefore, A implies B. The first and the last would have to imply one another. Well, not one another. A has to imply C. Doesn't necessarily go the other way. But also, we should be able to say, so if you connect this differently, I should be able to take this chain here and create the contrapositive. Not C implies not A. Can I do that here? Let's see. I can take this. B implies D. I want to change that. This and connect it here. I can take this and connect it here. And then see that this whole statement can be moved down to connect to not E because it starts here but it ends there. And there we go. Not C implies not A, which is the contrapositive. So both of these statements are going to work. Okay, so that's how you do what's called a syllogism, and you're just working with contrapositives and you're trying to make a chain of reasoning. So how you would do that here, this is our last example. It's a long video, I know. So I would take this video, watch it through, and then also apply it to what you have for your homework. So if you like Willie Nelson, give it a letter right away. It's a statement. So I'm going to make it yellow. Then you have good taste in music. All right, have good taste in music. That's going to be another statement. Make it orange. If the cops do not come to your door, that's a new statement as well. Make it a different color. Then you do not play your music too loud. Was that said already? No, that's another color. If you own a good stereo, okay, now that's another statement. Make that blue. then you will play the music too loud. Will play the music too loud. Was that said? Well, it is the negation of the other one, right? So this is going to be a. I'm going to say it's going to be green as well, but in my code, I'm going to make it not the top one. And so I'll start doing this. This is P implies Q. This is R implies S. You can use A, B, C, D. Does not matter. So R implies S. And then this one will be PQRST implies not S. Because you see that these two, I mean, you can also make this not S because it has a not, and then make this S. Okay? That's probably more common of a move. Do not have a good stereo. All right, that's the blue. That's the negation of the first blue statement. So this one is going to be not T implies you must not have good taste in music. So that's going to be the orange, but the negation of the orange. So that will be not Q. Now you take these statements and see if you can make logical reasoning, but you also have to include their contrapositives. And there's two statements that are going to be true. One logical chain of reasoning or its contrapositive. So writing down the contrapositives, we'd have not Q implies not R, or not P. And then here we would have S implies not R. And here we would have not S implies not T. And the last one would be, the contrapositive would be Q implies T. So you can really start anywhere you want. And I'm just going to start copying and pasting here to see what I can connect. So perhaps I start with, let's just find something that connects. I see P and Q and then Q and T there. So I'll say PQ, I'm going to steal that one. And then I'm going to have Q and T, I'm going to steal that one. Now let's connect these. Okay. It's not underlined. All right, can anything connect can T be applied to anything? Oh, there we go. T implies S. We connect them. Can S imply anything? Yes, S can imply not R. So take that down here, paste it. And can not R imply anything? No, but can anything imply, well, did I use everything? PQRST, PQRST. Yes, I used every single letter, okay? Which also means, so this, therefore, P implies not R. And therefore, also you could say the contrapositive is also true. So that would be R implies not P. And that chain can be obtained by using the remaining letters here. And I can show you not Q to not P. This can be attached here. Let's see. This can be attached. Take that back. And then this can be brought up here. There we go. That's the R implies not P. Okay, so either one of them are going to work. So a final statement could be looking at what P is. P, we said, was the first. Now I got things kind of messed up. So you might want to number like, you might want to record what's P, what's Q, what's R. I forgot to do that. So that's going to be the first statement here. That would be if you like Willie Nelson, then, okay, not R. Let's see what not R is, and I'll bring this up so I have it on the same page. Not R. So P, Q, R is the red. So not R would be the negation of this. So this is cops do not come to your door. This would be then cops come to your door. So that would be the original P implies not R. But if you had R implies not P, it's also correct. All right. So that's how we would use our logic of contrapositives in some of these kind of fun, what's called syllogisms, to connect and make a conclusion. Okay, when often it's hard to do just by reading this and coming up with a natural conclusion. So that's your notes. In your homework, it's going to be these few questions. Make sure you check your answer key and submit in Canvas. The assignment is in Canvas under modules. I will email this all out to you or message it through Canvas, and then I'll also put it on the class calendar so you have it.